Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we have Reverend Dale Ashby.
This would be me. We offer a word of prayer as we open this village board meeting. God of all grace, God of all people, we give you thanks for this gathering of community leaders and folks from the community as we come together this evening to tend to the business of our village. We thank you for the gifts and graces that are offered here of our leaders. We thank you for the opportunity to serve. We pray your blessing upon this gathering, that your wisdom may guide us, that we may work for the common good of all people in our village. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Okay. First thing, we have a public hearing regarding engine brakes. We say Jake brakes, but Jake is really the name of a company, the biggest company that makes those engine brakes. I need a motion to open up.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Before we go any further with that, we've done some homework on the brakes, that type of brakes. There is a state law on the VTL that's already on the books regarding Jake brakes and the noise and emissions and things like that. So the village is not allowed to do something like that. There was a community in Orchard Beach, I think it is, Orchard Beach? Orchard Park, I'm sorry, that did that and passed the law, put the signs up, and the state came in and made them take them down. So I'm having the chief research it. It's basically noise. They talk about they make too much noise, we can do something with noise, but we cannot, under the law, make any kind of special provisions regarding the Jake brakes. So if anyone would like to say anything about it, you're welcome to. But
I talked to a truck driver today, and the newer trucks, they are much quieter, and the problem that you have occasionally with one, if the mufflers for the Jake brake gets bad, then it's noisy. Instead of putting a good muffler on it, put a straight pipe on. There might be a couple of town trucks that are a little noisy and whatever, but I live right where they come by me every day, all night, and it doesn't bother me any. I just don't see a real problem with it. And it isn't something that goes on all night long. I mean, there's some trucks that go up by that had straight pipes put on, pickup trucks that make a lot more noise than the Jake brake. So, which isn't a big deal either as far as I'm concerned, but it's commerce coming into the village, and I think I can live with it, and I probably live in one of the areas almost where it's the worst, coming in out of Delhi down in there. But that's just my comment. And I think eventually, as some of the older trucks go off the road, the newer ones come on, they're going to be a lot quieter anyway. So
I live on Townsend Street, so we get probably close to much traffic as you do. But here once in a while, it's not a big deal to me.
yeah.
But anyone else care to say anything? If not, I'll make a motion to close.
Move we close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I did speak to a lot of truck drivers too, by the way. I spoke to a lot of local guys, and they said if there was for any reason that they would not be able to have these Jake brakes, which are the engine brakes, they would be putting brakes on their trucks almost weekly or bi-weekly, and it would be cost prohibitive. So we wouldn't want to do like that.
And also from a safety standpoint, because if they relied strictly on their air brakes and not the engine brake, there's a good chance that those brakes will be wore out, and then if they had to stop quick, they couldn't.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a match between the two.
Keith, are all the new trucks, is it just pretty much automatic that Jake brakes on new trucks are quieter, or is it like a special order kind of thing?
No, I think that they're all going to be that way as we get down the road. At least the drivers that I've talked to said that the newer trucks, and he drives for a company that's got one new one and two old ones, and he said this new one, I mean, you can hear it, but you can hear a truck go by too. It's like diesels. Diesel pickups used to, my God, clatter and noise and hammer and make a lot of noise. Today, they're no more noisier than a gas engine in the new diesels. So they're getting better all the time. And eventually, all those old trucks will be off the road anyway. So.
Okay, we'll go to item number 2, the abstracts. If any questions, everybody's received the abstracts over the weekend to take a look at them, and any questions you should have asked. If you have any, if nothing else, I'll take a motion for that.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Chief, you're first in the pot.
Evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I believe everybody's got a copy of my monthly report. Any questions, concerns?
Brandon, we have like one funeral detail. Are there funerals that you don't, that the police department doesn't assist with, or does that mean there was just one funeral for that time period?
This one actually was a officer from another department whose child passed away. So we went to this one. This one. But I do a lot of traffic control for other funerals, whenever town or whatever needs to be done. Just to let everybody know, my phone system is now up and running, working order. Camera system is up and running, good shape, so I think we're all set there now, so no more dilemmas there.
Anyone have any other questions for you, Chief? Or
What's that? AUO arrest.
It's aggravated unlicensed.
It's unlicensed, okay.
They're not licensed, more like they're suspended or revoked for whatever reason. That's all I have, unless you got something else for me.
That's it, thank you, Chief. Mr. White? Welcome up, everybody.
How was the show? How was the show? Did you go to a...
It's actually disappointing.
Really?
Yeah, it's really knocked down. The exhibits, not there what they used to be.
Wow.
I guess the cost of hauling all the equipment in and stuff, you know, is taking a toll on it, but I did get me a couple of contacts for, as far as the sweeper and came some of the companies. So, I guess in the long run it worked out.
How did the, oh, I'm sorry, John, the test that you had over on Maple Street with the sweeper, didn't you have a piece of equipment delivered
We
here that
tested
was-
one, we tried one, and first, one of these companies that ran into it, the show we actually had, and then last week, I believe it was, and tested one of their sweepers. And I also have another guy from the show that's supposed to bring one in here sometime shortly to,
And they're in the
check
same
out.
price range?
Yeah, somewhere between. It's all expensive, so, you know. The second one that we had, actually, me and all the guys thought it was way superior than the first one that we tried out. So.
Oh, okay. Good.
much more efficient.
Did you get a price back on it yet? Oh, no, right?
There's some floating prices, but he's supposed to send me a pack.
Okay. I think it's a little bit more, but it's a newer model, right? It was a brand new. This is one we looked at last time. It's a 2013, correct?
The one that we had in here was leftovers. It was
Wow.
actually a demo. It was 2011, and the one that we looked at the other day will be brand new.
Yeah,
And
2013.
it's just a little bit more money than the demo one, so
Really?
And it cleans a lot better, Roger.
It
So
seemed to work.
really,
amazingly well compared to the first
Oh,
one.
good.
So we'll get a third one in here and then look at that and then go from there.
Might have a heart attack.
No,
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
We all will.
Other than that, I really don't have anything. Hate to disappoint anybody, but
that's a good thing. Leaf pickup's going okay?
It's going great, I just wish, you know, we could talk to these all to fall in the same week and pick them up and be done with it, but, you know, they,
Yeah. I noticed on Gardner today, I went over there and like, there were like tons of leaves that came down all of a
Yeah.
sudden. I went there
we-
for.
we've been blessed with the good weather, so, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and keeping up on it.
Not our house, but on our street, there's some big trees that are still green, you know,
Yeah.
depending on the species of the tree.
And then, and that truck also does our salt spreading, the major portion of it, so if it looks like, you know, bad weather's coming in, we have to tear it down, and get ready for so as of right now, we've got one truck ready for salt, so a small one.
Okay.
But the weather stays good.
Good. Any other questions for Roger?
Does that mean you put out 58 tons of,
We did some patchwork just prior to. Yeah.
58 tons seems like a lot.
It does, but, I mean,
Goes quick.
10-ton truckload, so.
Oh, okay.
If you go look by the laundromat, Danny Hodges with the drive-through up in the back over there with the parking, that's where a good part of that
Like,
went.
good part going.
Yeah.
Trying to patch
It looks really good. And now, matter of fact, Danny was saying to me yesterday, I saw him yesterday I saw him, and he was saying how it helped out quite a lot. The water is not going by his building now, it's going to where it should go.
Well, the issue with that area is that it's so level, you know, you don't have any place to get any grade, drainage, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thanks, Raj.
Thank you.
Yep. Steve?
Good evening.
Good evening, Steve.
That's my report. That's all I got, and I'm sticking to it.
Sure. Follow the system.
Yeah, I thought I had it, but I was reading it wrong, so. There's more training coming up, so. Shouldn't be an issue. Got one coming up in, actually this TABOA annual conference is in first week of December. That's 2 days, 6 hours each day. It's at the Owego Treadway Inn. I haven't decided if I'm gonna do that one or not, but that's a possibility.
When do you have to have these credit hours in line?
I actually, well, they're supposed to be done annually, but they, a couple of years ago, threw in the 3-month grace period, so you can have until March of the following
Okay,
year.
it's a calendar year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then you'll get behind for next year, won't you?
Therein lies the problem.
Yeah.
That's why I want to get them done before the end of this year, then I don't have to play catch up next year. And I've still got flood hours to work on as well.
Flood.
I gotta have 20 hours every 2 years of flood training to maintain my certification. And actually, there's while the subject is on the table, in March, I've got to have those 20 hours completed by May of next year, May of 2014. In March, the annual state conference is in Poughkeepsie. And that's like a 3-day conference, and I can pretty much take care of all of my credit hours at that conference.
Yeah.
So I'll be requesting to go to that. I can get a few more details on it.
Very good.
That's pretty much all I got. We were gonna wait till. Okay.
That's it for now? Thank you, Steve. Bill?
Thanks, Bill. Evening, everybody.
Hi, Bill.
Just got a couple of quick things to touch base on tonight. Over at the wastewater treatment plant, had a kind of an average month on the septic. Started to go down a little bit for 6,000 gallons, which is a little bit of revenue for the village. We did have a few parts that we purchased over the past month, some spare parts for the RASWAB sludge pumps, and also a replacement probe for the equalization tank. So there's a couple of parts that Andy purchased due to things failing. So We do have one item that we are asking to purchase, which is a spare pedestal or support stand for one of the pumps. We don't have a spare one right now, and it is something that if it breaks, a new one is 6 to 8 weeks out, and it's something that we need to have all the time. So we are asking to purchase a spare pedestal for the Razwaz pumps. It costs $4,250. So that is one item we are requesting.
Is that from the water fund, that'd be from the water fund?
Wastewater treatment, the wastewater treatment.
Make a motion and we approve that purchase?
Second?
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And that's from the city's
Yes.
portion of the,
Yep. Yeah, because it's sludge related. One item that I didn't have on here, that Jody and I touched base on today was asking for board approval to go out for bids for sludge hauling, which is usually something we do annually. So it's kind of that time of year to get new pricing for sludge hauling, and then we'll put the ad in the paper and get bids.
Is that a calendar year thing?
Generally, yeah. I mean, we try to do it once a year. It's a little over the year period. We'll get bids, and then at the next board meeting, we'll hopefully have a recommendation to award it to the bidders.
Do you need a motion to do that?
I'll do that.
Second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Water project-wise, we're pretty much all wrapped up there. Just working on some of the final paperwork details with USDA. They were affected by the budget furlough, so all their staff was off for 3.5 weeks or whatever it was. So they've got a little bit of a backlog to get stuff processed there, but we're about at the end. Terrace Avenue is the last item on our list. I'm sure everybody's seen, we've been over there putting pipe in for the last couple of weeks. Almost all of the main line is in. They've got about another day of mainline piping to install, finish up the testing, and then we'll be inputting the water services, which is the the copper pipe from the main to the houses. So we should be starting on later this week. So I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks to be mostly wrapped up over there. And then probably next spring we'll come back and do some touch-up site restoration. So the overall status, most of the main lines in, 2 crossings are in, and they're proceeding over there. So.
And by the way, when we get ready to do the final hookup, there will be water outage for a while.
Right. We've got to shut down the main along Stockton Avenue, which we're going to coordinate with the school. We can't shut the pipe down when school's in session, so we're going to coordinate with them to either do it on a day when they're off or do it kind of later in the day after school's out, and then try to get notice to people in the area when we know exactly when that day is. Put on the radio that the approximate time we'll have an outage, but yes, there will be an outage to do the final hookup.
We will let you know. If we do it later in the day, it might be a little bit easier for businesses and things like that. So. And it shouldn't be for a prolonged period of time.
No, a
right?
couple hours.
Couple
Yeah,
hours,
it's not like an overnight thing. It's not a 2-day thing. It's a couple hours for them to shut the main down, cut a section of pipe out, do the connection, and then recharge the pipes.
Okay.
That'll probably be a week and a half to 2 weeks out to do that.
Okay.
So that's kind of the rough status of where we are over there. We do have a payment application from the contractor, GD Vincentis, for $101,404.90. That puts us just under the halfway point. I think it was 1,200 and some feet of pipe out of 1,400, and then a few hydrants and valves that they installed. So we are asking that the board authorize payment of the $101,000 to $101,404.90 for GD Vincentis.
Need a motion for that?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And that's all we got.
Thank you, Bill. If nobody else has questions. Okay, now it's time for public input. If anyone would like to say anything, please state your name and address, and we'll give you time to talk.
At last month's village board meeting, Patty Wood was here to give an update on the gazebo, and she was asked to supply additional information and estimates. I see she's not here tonight. Have you heard from Patty with new
I was
information?
out of the office most of the day. I got back this afternoon, there was a note to call her, I will call her tomorrow. Tinkers, you got anything on that?
No, I don't have any more on it this time. I've got calls out to contractors and so forth, try to give an estimate on the existing one, to rebuild it, to move it, or whatever we got going here, but they don't seem to be contacting me back. So, but I'll keep.
Local contractors?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know whether they don't want to get involved or, you know, or maybe they don't want to get their feet wet with this project. I don't know. But I'll
Do you have anything to
keep
say
on.
this?
I'll keep on.
Okay. The other thing, on the Saturday of Thanksgiving weekend will be the annual Spend the Day in Walton and the Christmas parade. Things are going along well, and this year we will be getting the activity flyers out very early so that they're available the week before when people do their Thanksgiving shopping. And obviously, before the Thanksgiving Day parade, the Chamber of Commerce will be putting up the Christmas lights on Delaware Street. And it's surprising how many people do not realize that it's the Chamber of Commerce who does that. And particularly this
Keith
man
Davis,
sitting
yeah.
next to me.
Yeah.
No, that's
Danny
been an
Hodge,
issue
Kevin
for
Arnold.
30
Well, I know
years.
there's a few of you, but thank you, you got the lift. It wasn't for that, we wouldn't have that.
For 30 years, people haven't known that the chamber is responsible for that. It was, I mean, literally 30 years.
Yep.
If
Put
not
them up.
longer.
And take them down and store them
Yeah.
and repair them every year.
Well, thank you for that.
It will be done.
Thank you.
That's it.
Anyone else care to say anything?
2 properties in town that were in question for being condemned. One on 10 just before you go out of town, and another one, I can't think of the street, goes across, had cats, etc. in it.
East Street.
Okay. What's the status on those 2? You got
Steve?
status on what?
Well, as far as the one on 10, I haven't gotten very far with that, and there's, I won't give you a bunch of excuses. There's a litany of reasons, but I haven't gotten very far with it, and it has to do with the owner of the place and a bunch of stuff that he's involved in. The house on East Street, that as far as I understand, that house still sits in probate. Nobody owns it. In order for me to hold somebody's feet to the fire, somebody's got to own it. Until such time as the court decides what they're going to do with the house, there's not a bunch more that I'm going to do chasing my tail with it.
Okay. Okay.
Following up on the house on North, I'm sorry, the Apple House, the White House. There were a couple of safety items, and they have cleared those up. They boarded up the back so that the kids can't get in, and the wall, they took down one of them. So we kind of drew a line, you can't take it, and he did respond to those, but there's still more work to be done.
Steve, the house on East Street, is that secured or is it?
That's secured.
And you got the cats out of the house?
The cats are still an issue. As far as I know, they were out. I say it was secured. I went back prior to the whole probate thing coming up, and they had accessed the house to do whatever they were doing in there and left it unsecured again, so we got it secured again. So whether there's cats in there as we speak right now, I don't know. I know there's still, I go by there in the mornings making my rounds, and I'll see, 1 or 2 black cats in the yard, so I'm pretty sure there's still cats there. And there's still been an issue of somebody, a neighbor, somebody going there and feeding the cats, and I had spoken with the people that own the house, or will own the house or whatever their status is, and, you know, she was quite upset about it as well. And, you know, my hands are tied as far as that goes. It's a trespass issue. I have seen food dishes on the property, whatever. That's something that she has to pursue, you know, not me, in terms of the trespass on the property. So, you know, that's, like I said last month, until I've got a known owner that I can hold my feet to the fire and continue making progress, we're kind of in limbo with that.
Okay. Anyone else, Kevin? Okay. Mayor's report. I really don't have much. The only thing I would like to say that the varsity club in the school went around this past month, and they did a lot of raking on Sunday of leaves for a lot of elderly people or handicapped people, and I thought that was really nice. They deserve recognition. I did, in fact, type a letter from the board and signed it and sent it up to the school so they can bring one home and one goes in their folder. So let them know that we are appreciative for what they're doing. Just want to let everybody know also that the businesses are still doing good. There's a couple more that I went to an opening on last Saturday, right off in Townsend Street. There are 3 or 4 more businesses that have called me up and asked if they're interested. One, matter of fact, called me yesterday, or 2 days ago, looking to come into a bakery. She was interested in doing a bakery. She lives in Syracuse, and I gave her some locations. So we had another one that's looking to do a cider place, make an apple cider and things like that. So there is interest. There are a few other bigger ones that I can't talk about that are asking also. So it seems that we are getting on a list of places that they should go to look for business, and that's a good thing. So I think we're on a good move, and I want to thank everyone, the chamber, and everyone for giving us support. And it seems that for some reason, which is a good reason, the village people and business, everybody got together now. We're all on the same page, and it's working out really well. And once we can get Delaware Street paved this spring, I think it's going to help, and we're going to look into sidewalks, and so there's a lot of stuff going on. Just trying to get some money together and do what we can. So, but it's a good thing. Trustee reports. I'm going to start with Teresa today. How's that?
That's good. I don't have anything other than what came up in the department head reports. Everything was handled in committee.
Okay. Tank, anything by you?
No, I think Roger both covered everything that I had on my mind, besides the gazebo.
Dave?
No, Bill covered it pretty well.
Okay, Charlie, we know you got something. Come on.
Well, yes, I do. The Theater Restoration Committee, unfortunately, we're very fortunate to have a group of Waltonians that jump in and have done a lot for the theater. They pointed out to me Friday, when we had rain, that there was a leak up in the roof by the bell. And that's probably something that we'll have to look into when weather gets better. They've tried to caulk it. I think one of you guys was up there last week, right?
Yep.
But still seems to be some more water coming through. I'm not sure just where. So that's something that the fallout from that is we lost a couple ceiling tiles because the water had collected and put weight on them. So they're looking to try to replace those, but eventually we need to get the roof fixed or that area.
But just to sort of amplify it, my understanding is ceiling tiles aren't easy to find if they're trying to find legitimate to match ceiling tiles, and if the roof isn't fixed, I mean, you just end up with a cycle. Exactly, and it gets worse instead of better, or it gets worse instead of staying the same. So it's sort of a pay me now, pay me later kind of thing.
Where is that, around the bell tower?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not, I don't think it's the roof.
No, it's just around the bell tower, whether it's at the joints, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well, probably the best thing to do, I mean, is just to get a contractor to come in and take a look at it, somebody local that we may know, and see what the problem is and what it may cost to take care of it.
But I mean, I don't know if is the Theater Restoration Committee in a, I don't mean somebody needs to jump in, but I'm just so it's, I mean, who actually gets a hold of the contractor to You know what I mean, just so we can actually.
May I suggest that I approach the committee and, with the board's authorization, authorize them to pursue this, get estimates?
Get estimates, look into it, get a few estimates, and see what see, at least we have an idea of what we're looking at, and what it's gonna cost, and, you know, because, as you know, we have the Italian disease right now. The funds are low, we have no money, so,
But the $70,000 for the projector was far exceeded. Shouldn't there be money in surplus?
They wanted to initially bring it to the board's attention because it is a village board. With our authorization, then they can pursue that, and then once they have that, they can come up with funding options. Do they have money left over? Is it going to be a village responsibility, maybe a combination? So I guess I'd make a motion that we authorize the Theater Committee Association to look, to go out for
we
bids.
need a motion just to get an estimate.
Well, you can.
Probably, I mean,
Better
it-
to do
it-
it.
Just getting an estimate, oh, okay, yeah.
it'll
You can make that
legitimize
motion.
us. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Just to get an idea, I don't, to answer your question, I don't know exactly how much they, do you know, Charlie, how much they got on the fund?
No, I don't have that number, I'm sorry.
We can look into it, I don't know, it's a good idea. I don't know if they've already earmarked something else for that, but it's something we'll look into. Okay.
The other thing I have is, I just want to kind of get the board's sense of this is something we want to pursue or not. With regards to multifamily residences, some of the villages in the county have ordinances, have local laws pertaining to them that some require that there be a local point of contact for the rental properties. So if there's damage, there's a problem, we have somebody local area, or to require inspection of apartments when they're vacated versus the whole building, or require inspection of apartments as a minimum of a 3-year tenancy to review those, and to maybe assign a fee, inspection fee for follow-up appointments. Just looking at, this is something that the board is interested in pursuing.
Where is this done?
Delhi was one.
Yeah, a couple sample laws that I got were, one from Delhi, one from the village of, I don't know, you got it there, Village of Johnson City, I think it was, or something like that.
Johnson City.
Yeah, there's.
And the benefit of doing something like
Well,
this would be?
the
in layman's
initial, I can
terms?
tell you that the apartment housing in this community, though it doesn't pertain to everybody, it doesn't pertain to all of the apartment houses, it never does, but there are some buildings in sad shape. And part of the issue that I'm running into is, as an example, I had a building that I ended up condemning because the heat was broke and the guy didn't want to fix it. I'm talking to the landlord in Puerto Rico, okay, and trying to get something accomplished, get it so, you know, hopefully the tenants can stay there if you can get stuff fixed. It's next to impossible. And there's a lot of houses, a lot of apartment houses that are owned in this village by absentee landlords.
There's no state law on the books already that if you had a complaint from someone that...
Well, ultimately, the goal is to get from, let's attack this on the front end, let's have some points of contact if there's an issue that comes up. Let's deal with it so people don't have to get kicked out of their house, you know, things of that sort. Let's address it on the front end instead of constantly in emergency mode where, you know, I get a call at 6 o'clock on a Friday night, you know, oh, you got to come look at this place because it's filled with cockroaches and et cetera, et cetera.
I understand the point, but who would be the contact person you're talking about?
The landowner would be responsible for contracting with somebody local to be an apartment manager. They would have to have somebody who either does business regularly in Walton, so they're here in Walton all of the time, or they live here and are capable of of dealing with whatever issues need to be dealt with.
So you're basically saying that if you had an apartment building with X number of apartments in it,
Well,
they
by
would
the
be
state
mandated to have
definition-
somebody to manage it?
Right,
Is that what
by-
you're basically saying?
Well, and they don't necessarily have to manage it, they need to be a point of contact.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a contingency for repairs. My repairman is John Doe. He's 865-1234. Just so somebody that we have to go to.
What you're looking for is a contact person?
Yes. Having a contact person, so that if they are, like, again, if they're an absentee landlord, there's somebody, a physical body in this village that can go to that apartment house and deal with whatever, whether it's, they go to the apartment house and say, yep, there's a problem, let me call the plumber, whatever.
This may be more a question for Dave Mersey, but would we only be able to do, if, this isn't a judgment at all on my part, but if we were able to do it and did it, would existing situations also apply, would that law also apply to existing situations, or would it just be new apartment house settings?
Depends on how you want to write it. I would write it as, once it takes effect, whoever is, owns an apartment building and they're an absentee landlord, you'd have to, obviously, we'd have to send out notices to them, by such and such a date, you have to have, somebody registered with the village.
Say the guy in Puerto Rico, thumbs his nose at us, what's the consequences, where's the hammer?
It's been probably a week since I read through this. There are consequences. I mean, it's just like any other ordinance. You write in consequences. If they fail to comply with that, it's a violation of our local ordinance. And you pursue it like you would pursue any other violation.
Have you seen a copy of it from someplace else? Have you read it? You have it, Charlie?
Charlie's got my 2 copies there.
I'll get copies and pass them to the board.
The inspections are not just for absentee landlords.
The inspections are required across the board anyway. Multifamily residents, 3 dwelling units or more, require an inspection once every 3 years.
What he's getting at is he wants a contact to be able to get a hold of instead of waiting.
Right, because one of the other problems I'm having is that, I send out 30 notices. Here's my 30 apartment houses that I need to inspect this year. I send out a notice and say, please contact this office. I might get 2 responses. They just don't respond to it.
And the part, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, but the part about the apartment when it's vacated, right now, if you go and do a fire inspection on a multi-unit home, you do the community spaces.
You do the common areas, all the public spaces.
But you can't get into the individual apartments unless you give permission to come in. But by doing this, it would be when the apartment's vacated, then he'd have an opportunity to go in.
And it also helps to protect the landlord, because at that point, I'm also a third-party inspector. If I go in, I document my inspection, I say, you need to fix this or this or this, or I say, this apartment is fine, go ahead and rent it out. The landlord now has my documentation that the apartment was fine when he rented it out. So it helps protect him when, that tenant moves out a year from now.
I would suggest that we each get a copy of that and read it, and we'll address it next month again, just to take a look at it, because I wouldn't want to hastily go into anything.
We're just
Bringing it up as, food for thought, and do we want to consider it?
Also to do, I think one is have Dave Murphy take a look at it, just the existing laws that, and the other thing is, if it looks like it's something we'd be genuinely interested in prior to a decision, is to have whoever would be appropriate contact some of the municipalities where this has been done and see how successful it's been. If they wish they'd done it differently, are they happy with the results? Did it get the results they wanted? And is it enforceable? That kind of, just see, so we don't have a law in the books that's there, but doesn't help you any the way you needed it to.
Right.
Okay.
Then actually, maybe we'll get copies of this to the board.
Yep.
And,
Okay, good. All right, number 7, first-time home buyers.
For Opportunities Committee, disposal costs. The number is W4-76, and they're requesting the board approve it.
Make a motion, we approve that.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, number 8, opening new accounts for the wastewater treatment plant upgrade project.
We're getting ready to bond for the upgrades, and I need 2 accounts, a checking and a savings account for that money. I need board approval to open 2 accounts.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 9, energy quotes. We do this every year for our electric.
We had a company that canvassed several electricity companies, and we got a quote from Integris, who we're using right now, and Integris is the lowest bid.
It's almost a penny cheaper. It's not a lot, but when you put it together, all the energy we use, it comes up to a lot.
So I recommend that we stay with Integris.
That's what we have now.
So do we need to make a motion to stay?
Yes, yes.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And last but certainly not least, number 10, the Veterans Parade. That will be on November 11th, 11th day, 11th hour. So just need a motion for that.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I don't have that one. Why do I have that? Election resolution?
Yep.
I missed it on mine. Sorry. One more.
It's that time of year again, and I need to put the first notice in the legal section about the upcoming election. It'll be March 18th, 2014. There'll be 2 trustee seats up for election this year. So I need approval to send the legal notice to the reporter.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Seconded that.
Alan?
Is that the 18th, Jody?
Yes, March
Yeah,
18th.
March 18th.
That's it, there was another one, is right? No, there wasn't
No,
any. Okay. That will be it for this. We need to go into executive session to discuss Teamsters. Huh? Negotiations, I should say, I'm sorry. Teamsters negotiations. Thank you everyone for coming.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Keith.